All right, let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully everyone got their lunch and is nicely energized for this first session after lunch. Thanks for taking the time to come out here. I'm going to talk a little bit on how e-commerce is influenced by AI and what you can do about it in this new world. I'm Arne. I'm the founder CEO of Parcel Perform, delivery experience solution in the market. We'll share a little bit about that later, and we have a booth here to also find more about our services. But without further ado, let's look into what I'm going to cover today. First of all, I'm going to speak a little bit around what AI commerce is, how it's going to influence the industry, and kind of what we all can do about it. Looking at it from the perspective of merchants that operate in the space, and then lastly, looking at how Parcel Perform is preparing for that future, how we support our customers. So let's look at AI commerce in the first place. This is not just the future of anything. This is already happening as of today. I think by now around 70% of US adults using AI already to shop for their purchases. So this is something that's happening now. You can try it yourself with ChatGPT, any kind of AI agents you want to use. It gives you recommendations, it shows you products. It is something that can be very, very helpful in any kind of shopping journey. If you look at it, this is not just one of the few features AI agents offer. That's one of the few priorities. If you look at what the industry is right now doing, they're spending $1 trillion building data centers right now, and they're looking for ways to monetize. So e-commerce, I think, is one of the key priorities for them. And there's a lot of things happening. First of all, I think it's about 3 weeks ago, OpenAI published what they call the Agentic Commerce Protocol, which is exactly how e-commerce companies can integrate with their AI agents to make sure that their products are visible and can be bought online. What's also happened at the same time, they defined a framework on how you can actually check out on the website with those AI agents. They started with Stripe. I think in the initial release, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, they released a collaboration with PayPal to also support that. I'm sure every payment provider that you're working with will follow suit very, very soon. There's a lot of happening around the browser space. I think there's a Comet, Atlas, there are now AI-based browsers that have a kind of inbuilt capabilities with AI to search for products for essentially the AI and the browser to take over from the consumer to do the work on researching as well as checking out products. And lastly, is also about a week old, now Lovable, one of the vibe coding apps, is now supporting the creation of your own Shopify shop via vibe coding. So you don't need any developers anymore to set up your own e-commerce business. So it becomes super easy to sell something online, and you see the whole AI industry is going after those consumers and being part of this e-commerce journey for everyone. So looking at this, this is not just a small little trend. And I think we have a projection, and I think it's also confirmed from the World Economic Forum, that a large share of the what is now called the e-commerce markets will eventually be driven by AI commerce or influenced by AI commerce. So if you look at the numbers and what's happening, you can technically say, hey, the traditional e-commerce model that we all know and have been working in actually peaked last year. We've seen a lot of that moving over to AI commerce, and we will see that to accelerate massively as all these new technologies and frameworks come out and being adopted by the consumer. So this is our projection. I think it's in line with what others are projecting as well. And you can see that if you're not on AI commerce, I think your business is probably going to do a lot of a nosedive over the next few years. But with that, I think the key is with AI being in the play with AI commerce and being in between you and the consumer, I think one of the key things is to really understand how these AI shopping assistants work and how you can be successful in this new space that is evolving as we're speaking right now. So with that, since it's a priority, I think you don't have to wait for a long time to do this. I think this should be a priority for you and your business to do at this very moment. So looking a little bit on what are the three important areas, we call it battles, that you have to look into in order to be successful. The first one is around being visible, being in the space, being accessible for the AI agents. The second one is making sure that all your data, what you have to offer, is shown to the AI agents for their work. And then I think the last one, once all your data, all your offering is there, then it's for you to optimize for competitiveness. But let's look into all of the three of these things a little bit more in detail and decide, what we can do as a merchant about it. Firstly, look at the battle for visibility. Everyone has heard about SEO, and I think every e-commerce merchant has a team, has a person that creates content, makes sure that anyone's Googling your products or your business finds them. However, optimizing for AI agents, which is called Generative Engine Optimization, GEO, is very, very different. So it's not about having lots of content. I think it's about having more specific facts, figures, specific features that your products have. I think that's what matters more than anything else. So it's an entirely new strategy. And I think what matters is third-party content. With this, I think what has been done in the past, where you basically, and you probably know that from your own web shop, you have lots of content. That doesn't matter anymore because AI will see through that. It's all about facts, figures, what exactly do your products offer that needs to be out there. So, and I think a lot of merchants will deliver that content. So when that happens, I think a lot of AI agents will say, hey, there's so much content, you know all these listicles, what are the best products out there in the market. They will see lots of this content and will start to ignore it. That's when it really comes to making sure that AI can access your own page and to see the products, the prices, all the features, what you're promising, and be able to access that. So whatever AI can't see, they won't be able to propose to the consumers. So in the past, a lot of merchants chose to basically block off their content or their pages for any kind of crawlers because you don't want your competitors to do price comparison on your page, etc. Now, you probably should be stopping that because if you're blocking off crawlers, you're also blocking off AI agents and they can't bring you any business. So you need to be sure that all your content is accessible, all the features you want to bring in the market are visible to AI in order to succeed. So what happens probably over the next few years, you will basically put all that content out there and AI agents can crawl it and make use of it in their recommendation for their consumers. What will then be the focus is if AI agents do that, they will basically come up with a recommendation. They will be very specific. They will compare all the features. They will see what the AI consumer is asking for them. Let me give you an example. If you want to buy a toaster, there are multiple toasters. There are high-end toasters. There's low-end toasters. There's 2 slots, 4 slots, fancy one with display, without display. The AI will sort through all these features. They will sort through all the pricing and make the best recommendation. And maybe what matters as well is when is the toaster available. So, but that's not the only thing. What also matters, and that's on the right side of the slide, is they will also see, okay, how far can I trust that merchant? How far can I trust that experience to be good? So it's not just about the product and the offering, it will also be about whether you as a merchant, as a service provider are good for e-commerce and the customers. So with all those 3 battles, I think one can assume there is a lot of movement in the e-commerce industry. And I think we are seeing 3 important trends that everyone has to watch and probably can expect in the market over the next few years. The first thing is we coined it the end of loyalty, or the rise of the hyper-rational customer. So essentially, if you can use AI agents to basically gather all the information for all your purchase decisions, you can take a very, very rational decisions. Okay, you can compare features, you can compare offerings, you look at all the possible merchants that offer this stuff, and you pick the one that fits you the best. So what matters for a consumer to come your way as a merchant is whether you're objectively the better option for them, and not whether they have seen your brand in 15 other places, etc. It's all kind of based on the very transaction, and it can be a kind of one time you win, and just because a consumer bought with you last year doesn't necessarily mean they buy it again if for this next transaction somebody else has a better or cheaper product. So we can move from a world where it's all about building a loyal customer base. We're moving to a world where every transaction will be decided based on what you have to offer, and you constantly have to worry about how you're kind of performing there. So it's about the product, but again, at the same time, when an AI recommends something, they will also look into, okay, how good of a merchant are you? How successful were you in delivering that kind of promise? What are the reviews that customers left for you? Because if they recommend something, they want to make sure that this is the best possible recommendation for the consumer. So get ready for an age where loyalty and basically building a big customer base that you hope is going to buy from you again is probably not the priority anymore. It's about winning for the hyper-rational customer at every time. The second thing that's going to happen is, we call it hyper-competition. Because right now, why are you not selling, for example, to Australia? You may do it or kind of pick any other market. It's because you don't have a kind of the marketing interface to sell into all these markets and make sure that your products can be sold there. With AI, that doesn't matter. As long as you can ship it there, you can sell in those markets, and you can be competing against local competitors. And if you're kind of price competitive, if you have a good product, and if the delivery time is kind of acceptable, you have a market. So what you can imagine is you're not just selling to one a market, let's say the United States, but you can sell through kind of the whole of the Americas, to Asia, to Europe, to any other place, as long as you can do the shipping and the logistics. Which is great for you because it opens up new markets. The downside of it, everyone else can do that too. So all of a sudden, you're competing here in the US with service providers or other e-commerce merchants from around the globe. To some extent, you do that already, but I think a lot of them were kind of constrained. Hey, I don't want to invest in the US presence, in US marketing, in US customer acquisition. So there was a huge barrier for anyone to come here. But with AI commerce, that's no longer relevant. It's all about kind of the product, what you have to offer, and how long it takes to ship here. So be ready for a lot more competition on the product, on the price, on what you have to offer. So I think that's kind of the future where we are seeing a lot of movement and probably a lot of exciting news for consumers, but obviously can also be scary for you as a merchant. The third one is in and around kind of objective performance, because literally everyone can promise anything under the moon in terms of like, okay, what are products, kind of delivery, returns, all these kind of performance statistics. And if it's too easy to build a new store, and if it's too easy to sell internationally, there will have to be a lot more focus from the AI agents as well as consumers on, hey, can I trust this merchant to actually deliver on those promises? So there will be a lot of market for objective performance in what the merchant can deliver. And if you don't score well in these dimensions, I think here are just some examples on cancellation, late deliveries, return rates, kind of 3-star ratings, etc. All of this will be part of the decision making for the AI agent in the first place. So I think the way we frame it usually towards customers is, in the past, if you screw up the delivery or kind of the performance for one customer, you probably lost that customer, but all your other customers are going to be fine. Now, in this day and age where all this will be considered for the next purchase, if you screw up for a few customers, they can impact your entire business. So I think there will be a lot more focus on kind of making sure that you're getting it right, on the delivery experience with the product, the service you deliver, and kind of are you delivering it on time? Does everything go right? So I think from our perspective, this will be a lot more focus, and there's going to be a lot more emphasis on making sure that the delivery experience is up to scratch where it needs to be for you to be able to compete successfully in AI commerce. Looking at this, what are the strategies you can have as a merchant? I think there are 3 important parts. One is you need to basically play the content game. So you not just have to have a store for all the humans kind of looking at the products, taking a purchase decision. You also have to basically have all the information ready, accessible for the AI agents to look into. They're not going to look at the photos. They're going to look at the product description, the specific items, availability. All of that needs to be available in low latency, kind of accessible to anyone. So, and I think the frameworks are out there right now on how you do this. If you don't do this, you're invisible to AI. If you're invisible to the AI, you have seen kind of the decline rate of just traditional e-commerce. So I think this is one of the key strategies. It's not hard. It's very clear what needs to get done. But I think the earlier you start at, the more likely you're going to be kind of being one of the first ones to have all your information readily available to AI. So, and there's also some information that are a bit easier. Let's say all the product descriptions you probably have somewhere, you just have to put it somewhere else. What's a lot harder is kind of information like expected delivery dates and all these kind of policy things, the promotions that are available. They also need to be kind of as part of this communication, because if you have a promotion that is not visible to AI, the consumers will take a decision outside kind of or without considering the offers that you have in the market. So looking at the second strategy, and that's becoming even more important, is around kind of logistics. Kind of logistics is something that obviously you need to deliver on the order, but I think with AI it will be a lot more front and center for it because you have a lot more optionality than you can present. Because right now, you don't want to give the consumer like 15 different options in the checkout because it's confusing, it's a conversion killer. You say, okay, there's just two things, you pick one and you move on. But for AI, that all doesn't matter. So the AI wants to have the specific best product or kind of solution that they can pick for their consumer. So there's a lot of things that you can consider there. One is leverage more carriers. There are a whole bunch of carriers out there that have very specific services, kind of different pickup times, different kind of service levels across the different geographies, and so on and so forth. The more of those services that you make available, the more optionality you create for consumers, the better it is probably for your business. The second is, if we talk about EDD, this is the one place where you usually lose a lot of time, and it's very unnecessary, kind of on the warehouse turnaround times. So we have a lot of conversations with our customers. Hey, how can we cut out kind of 1-2 days of our EDD? It's very difficult to talk to the carriers to really do that. But usually the easiest place to get there is kind of in the warehouse. So why does it take more than a few hours to get the product out of the door? So I think we have seen relentless focus now on warehouse turnaround times, so cutoff times. When can you order until it gets still kind of delivered for the same day? So I think that's an important priority. Optionality in the delivery options, kind of fast, expensive, slow, cheap, kind of delivery locations, lockers, you name it. Kind of some people care for like sustainable delivery options. So there's a lot of kind of optionality. In the past, you didn't want to put it out there because it's complicated and it clutters your checkout. In the future, AI knows whether this consumer cares about it, whether they want it there by Tuesday, whether they can pick it up on the way to work from this locker location. So what you basically avoided to put in your checkout will be very helpful in this age of AI, where the AI can pass all that complexity and pick you as the best option because you offer this kind of functionality. Last but not least, is particularly here in the Americas, is if it's all about EDD, being fast in the delivery, I think different delivery locations make a big difference in order to cut down expected delivery dates. Because if you compare products, and sometimes the products are very comparable between you and your competitors. If the pricing is also comparable, the decision making comes down to where you get it faster. So the faster you can get it out there, the faster the turnaround time is in warehouse, the closer the location is, the smarter the carrier that you can pick, I think wins you the business. So I think there's a lot of work to do, particularly on the logistics sides for this kind of age of AI, because that will be an important decision-making factor around expected delivery dates and how to deliver on the kind of expectations, and kind of what it make a difference for decision-making. Looking at this kind of strategy, one of the key things is, I think we talked about it, that in the past, a lot of money was spent on finding the customer. There's some big marketing budgets, finding the customers, bring them in the door, and there's a huge part of the kind of the financial means of a merchant is allocated to that. If we move to the world of AI commerce, you can basically say the consumer is finding the merchant, because the AI agent does all the work. So what you kind of have to, however, you have to be able to compete. So if you compete, you get a better product. You can compete by lower prices, because obviously everyone is super price sensitive. If you can make reinvest, let's say how much you spend on marketing, 10-20% of your revenue, GMV. If you invest half of that in lower prices, then can give you a massive edge. You can invest that in better logistics. You can invest that in broader reach. So I think if you look at it from a strategy point of view, there's a lot of opportunities for you to really reshape the business in a way that you focus on really winning out on the AI commerce side against all these kind of different service providers that had offerings out there that is competing with you. So I think this will shape the industry quite dramatically. And we already can see a lot of movement that some of the promotions / kind of lower prices are available to AI agents in order to make sure that you can compete there and not just in the other part of the e-commerce value chain. So looking at the kind of strategy number 3, I think it's all about making sure that AI has kind of what we call trust signals to work with. Yeah? So you deliver your kind of service from the discovery, checkout, delivery, returns. However, I think it is very important that this is visible, that AI commerce engines see it. And I think I mentioned earlier that it has a much higher importance to the consumer than in the past. You're not just with one bad experience, you're not just using one customer, you put a lot of more business at risk for any time somebody has a bad experience. So with that, I think the focus on the trust signals of a consistent, reliably good performance, having the best possible logistics infrastructure and kind of winning in the content game is super important to be successful in AI commerce. Looking at it a little bit, how we as Parcel Perform think about this topic, and maybe I start a little bit introducing ourselves as a business. We're an end-to-end delivery experience platform. So we work with merchants like yourselves to kind of cover 2 important parts of the e-commerce journey to make sure that we cover the customer experience beyond the web shop, from making the right promises on the expected delivery date in the checkout, to post-purchase, to returns management, covering every element of the customer experience, while at the same time making sure that on the logistics side, all the integration works very well with the carriers, from the label generation to tracking and so on and so forth. We are focused and kind of for most of the time on having the best data kind of in the industry. We have very, very deep integrations with our carrier. We make sure that we collect all the data, because I think that's one of the big starting points to be successful in AI. If you don't have the data in place to support it, I think you are kind of having a very, very difficult starting point. We focus on enterprise. We're working with big companies, you see some of them on the bottom, to make sure that we have tailored solutions for them across the entire delivery experience value chain. And last but not least, I think we're embracing fully, and we have invested very early in the opportunities around AI, kind of getting ready for AI commerce. So we're seeing this as a key trajectory for us as a business. So what are we from a product perspective? A quick outline here. We start at the checkout. We deliver EDD. We deliver delivery options to end consumers via our widget. On the post-purchase side, we do tracking pages, tracking notifications, making sure that kind of the whole delivery journey is smooth as possible. We do cover returns management from kind of the return requisition directly at the place where they track their orders through managing the entire process end to end. And lastly, we cover any kind of label integrations throughout this for the forward delivery as well as return delivery. On top of that, we have what we call AI decision intelligence. There's so many moving pieces kind of for every merchant. You have like thousands, millions of shipments in flow kind of every day. So we have AI looking at all the reporting, figuring out where things go well and where things are not going well, and making sure that you're well prepared kind of in managing that complexity factor. So, and what we have launched recently is kind of AI commerce visibility. We want to make sure that kind of every merchant knows how they're faring with AI and AI commerce. Are their products being recommended? Are they kind of being preferred compared to their competitors? So with that, I think you have a tool to see that in real time and optimize your business accordingly. So from our side, we are seeing ourselves as the first kind of AI commerce service provider with along 5 dimensions. I quickly run through them to give you kind of a sense on how we're thinking about it. First of all, I mentioned it briefly, AI commerce visibility. You should understand whether you can be found by AI. So we will measure whether your brand is visible around your category, whether your products are being recommended over your competitors, whether the sales channels that you have are being the ones that the AI suggests to the end customer to use it, and how the AI thinks of you as a service provider, how trustworthy you are. So with all these kind of elements, it's great to understand where you stand when you start managing AI commerce. Secondly, I think one of the key components we talked about is expected delivery date. So consumers will consider that kind of massively in deciding which merchant to go for, because I think they want to hold the product in their hand. So you need to be very super granular on the data side. You have to basically balance the accuracy without putting too much buffer into it, because if you have too much buffer, you probably competitively lose out. There's a lot of things happening in the network, so there needs to be continuous refinement, and all these data needs to get it to the AI agents in real time and low latency. So I think this is one of the key battlegrounds, and to be frank, this is where a lot of merchants underinvested in the past, just saying, oh yeah, 3 to 5 business days, that's it. That's not going to get you very far in the age of AI commerce. So from that perspective, we offer a solution to really up at a level and make sure that you have the best and most competitive expected delivery dates in the market. On the third side is logistics setup. I talked about a little bit kind of having delivery options, different carriers, kind of a dynamic decision making on basically which carrier to use to optimize for expected delivery date, the rates, your cost structures, you can deliver with the cheapest, ideally by matching the expected delivery promise that the customer bought, and really focus on the cost analysis around it. So I think from our perspective, a lot of flexibility is important in this segment. And I think what we're seeing with a lot of our customers, they have very legacy solutions out there, probably on-prem, where all these dynamic data and decision making is very, very difficult. And I think that's where we're saying from our side, it's time to move to a more like agile technology stack in order to optimize, because if you want to compete in a world where AI commerce and competitiveness is kind of decided for every transaction, you can't afford to be very slow in this part. So fourth, I think post-purchase returns execution, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. This is where your bad review's gonna kind of originate. So from notifications, I think our focus is kind of to avoid all those pitfalls. Because you need to avoid that something goes wrong, and I think from that perspective, we are optimizing for that, making sure seamless upselling, returns, everything end-to-end can be offered through our platform. So, and last but not least, I think what I mentioned briefly, kind of on AI decision intelligence, which is essentially instead of you monitoring your 5-10 reports on a daily basis, what we will do, we have not just 5, but probably close to 500 reports that we are kind of looking at on a daily basis by AI, and we only tell you these are the 5 things you should spend time on today. You don't have to look at all of the reports and kind of spot, okay, where action is required. AI is doing that for you. It summarizes you on a daily basis and make sure that your workflow is optimized and you can focus on the most important things for running your business. So this is one of the most important use cases AI can bring to the system, and also make sure that in this world of AI commerce, you're running a very tight ship and make sure that as little customers as possible have a bad experience from your service. So with this, I think the key is a lot of merchants said, hey, 2023 was bad with all kind of post-COVID kind of slowdown. But I think what's going to happen with AI commerce over the next 2 years is going to be very, very exciting for some of us. But I think it's a very, very transformational. And I think that's where we as a service provider want to be by the side of our customers, kind of going through this change, understanding how this change is impacting their business, be there with our solution to make sure that you proactively manage this transition. Because consumers are going to kind of probably spend even more on e-commerce and ordering stuff. You just want to make sure that you're the one who's benefiting from it and who will be the winner of this kind of transition, which is very exciting. So with everything, I very much kind of appreciate your attention for joining for this. We're kind of putting ourselves out there for the awards later. So if you feel this resonated with you guys, feel free to vote for us as Parcel Perform. But we're very happy to kind of have a conversation with you guys. The booth is just like there, kind of 10 meters from the stage. So feel free to engage us. We have live demos. We can get back to you guys and be part of this journey together with you as merchants.